Hello friends, I'm Steve Sanford. You're watching Dominion Report. With all the new changes going on in the world right now, and especially with a new administration in the USA and an imminent election here in Canada, I feel like it's a good time to talk about fascism and what exactly defines fascism. So Lawrence W. Britt is a retired business person and writer. In 2003, he wrote an article defining fascism in 14 characteristics. To do this, he first studied the regimes of Hitler, Mussolini, Franco, Salazar, Pinochet, and Suharto, among others. He compiled a list of 14 common characteristics and he published them in an article that he wrote in 2003 for a publication called Free Inquiry. This is a publication that describes itself as a secular humanist publication. I'll put a link in the article to the article in the comments below so that you can read it yourself. I should note that as a Canadian, I'm looking south at the moment to watch what is happening there when I'm thinking about this particular list. But also, I'm cognizant of our own politics, and I think that, as diligent voting citizens, we all have a duty to be informed. So here's the list. Number 1, powerful and continuing nationalism. So that's like, being obsessed with, say, a flag, or perhaps believing that your country first is a thing. Number 2, disdain for the importance of human rights. So that's as in, say, disallowing the identity of those in the LGBTQ community, or suppressing the social power of certain racial groups, through gerrymandering, selective funding, etc. Number 3 is identification of enemies or scapegoats, as a unifying cause. Can anyone say immigrants? Watch out for whoever it is that they tell you should be afraid of. It's those others. Othering, a verb, is a common tactic. Typically, the group of people that is othered are dehumanized. And it often happens a little tiny bit at a time, such that the general population becomes accepting of inhumane actions against them. Now, that process ends with something like the Holocaust, but it begins with something like, say, defamatory lies about eating pets. Number 4 is supremacy of the military. So a good example would be if your military budget was perhaps close to $1 trillion, or if it represented 40% of the entire world's military budget combined. Number 5, rampant sexism. I mean, it's not like you'd elect a judicially adjudicated, confirmed sexual assaulter to the highest office of the land, would you? Number 6, controlled mass media. Now, this usually involves state media or corporate media outlets that are friendly with the regime, plus the elimination of independent media that perhaps would criticize the regime or even just publish the truth. Before actual elimination occurs during the slide into fascism, independent media would be vilified and undermined. So, they'd maybe be called fake news. That's just a way to justify their elimination later. Number 7 on the list is obsession with national security. This is generally about fear. A population that is afraid of whoever's being othered wants to be protected by the government, and that's when they're willing to give up more of their rights. Number 8 on the list, religion and ruling elite mixed together. Now, in the US, this has always been an issue, but especially so since the Southern Strategy and Barry Goldwater. Perhaps I should do a video on Southern Strategy at some point. Maybe I'll do that. Number 9, the power of corporations are protected. Now, to clarify a bit on this one, it's really certain corporations, ones that are friendly to the regime, and also ones that used to be state-owned. So in fascist regimes, things like, say, prisons or the postal service or utility companies, they're often sabotaged by the government to demonstrate that they don't work, and then they're privatized and they're sold for pennies on the dollar to wealthy private individuals who are friendly to the regime. Those private individuals are often referred to as oligarchs. Okay, so we're up to number 10 on the list, and that is the power of workers are suppressed or eliminated. Now I'm going to add a comment here. The US government has 2 entities that deal with unions. One of them regulates unions to ensure they're not doing anything wrong, and the other regulates corporations to ensure that unions and workers are being fairly treated. During Donald Trump's first administration, guess which one of those 2 had its budget increased and which one had it slashed? Number 11 is disdain and suppression of intellectuals and the arts. You know, like, I love the uneducated. This is sort of like how about public verbal attacks against professors who speak the truth? That's sort of often how it starts, and it ends with those people being disappeared. With the arts, how about we just cut funding? That's one way to undermine the arts and dissuade future arts from continuing or happening at all. Number 12, obsession with crime and punishment. Now, do you remember a while back the call to not protect a detainee's head as they are escorted into the back of the police car? It's been a while since then, and a lot of things have happened to make it perhaps worse than it is now, but that's often where it starts. Number 13, rampant cronyism and corruption. Who would imagine that the richest guy in the world pays $250 million to help get someone elected and then gets to cosplay as a government efficiency expert, while simultaneously dismantling the institutions that are actively investigating his companies? I would say Lawrence Britt probably could have imagined it. And number 14 is fraudulent elections. So can we say decades of gerrymandering? Perhaps also I could add that boisterous claims of fraudulent elections where there weren't any could also be added to this category here. So this is the 14 characteristics of fascism. Perhaps some of that will sound familiar. That's where we are right now. Stay tuned for an upcoming video about the 10 steps of the descent into fascism. If you like this video, please go ahead and like this video. And if you find any of my content valuable, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe. This helps me to continue to bring you more of the same. In the meantime, stay calm, stay strong, and elbows up.